Hello. So let's start the last session, the peering session, apricot peering forum. The third session is focusing on the IXPs or IXP related tools. So please sit down, okay? And of course, we will have an appearing personals. So if you wish to have a presentation of the appearing personals, please send the email to peeringpersonals@apix.asia. Oh, sorry, not showing that. Okay. Okay. Oh, this session we have a lot of talks. So let's start. The first one is Euro IX tools and the Ixp DB by Bijal of EuroIX and IXF. Thank you, Bijal.
Okay, let's see if I can. All right. Hello, everyone. Oh, I'm not sure everyone can see me there, but okay. So nice to be back here at the, well, not here in Daejeon, but back at the Apricot meeting. I gave a presentation in Nepal last year about some plans that we were working on an Ixp Database, so I'm really excited to be here to present what we've been working on. So, before I start, EuroIX is an association for Internet exchange points. Today we have 73 members. While the name suggests Euro and that we're European, we're actually quite global, and we have 19 IXP members from the rest of the world, and many of you are in his room. So, yeah. What do? We have 2 meetings a year. We had our last one in November last year, and we have the next one coming up at the end of March in Toulouse. We run a website and database, which I'm going to talk about in detail a bit later. We have a fellowship and mentor program, and this is programs to help IXPs in needs. So, for example, if for the fellowship program, it gives IXPs an opportunity to attend a EuroIX forum, where we have an average of around 120 attendees, and out of that, that's 40, on average, around 44 internet exchange points. And the Mentor IX program is also there to help internet exchange points that may have any kind of challenges that they're going through, and we match the internet exchange points up with existing exchange points so that they can work together and help out any challenges that they may have. A new project we're working on is a peering toolbox. So I know that earlier in the session, I think it was the session this morning, somebody mentioned something about peering BCPs. So I'm really pleased to say that we're actually working on this. There's a number of people from the community that are involved. Many of them are here. So watch this space, and we're looking to do some best practice work. And the best practice documents that we're going to be producing are going to be 2 sets, from an IXP point of view, but also from a peer point of view. So hopefully I'll be able to share more of that next year. We do a number of reports. We have benchmarking, traffic, hardware, and root servers. We have a newsletter, so if you're interested to hear anything about internet exchange points or news from IXPs, then please subscribe to the newsletter and keep in touch. One thing that we've been recently working on is root server large BGP communities. And what we've done is we've put together a standard list, which you can find on the EuroIX website. And the idea of this is so that, we've spent a lot of time, the internet exchanges have spent a lot of time putting this list together. So rather than networks or internet exchange points going out and building their own lists, you can refer to this and use what's already been defined. We're on social media, so you can follow us, like us, and watch us if you like. I'd also like to say a big thank you to our patrons. These are typically organizations that have an interest in internet exchange points, who want to understand kind of like the inner workings of the exchange points and the business needs and requirements of internet exchange points. And many of you are in the room, so thank you for your continued support. Right, so I'm here to talk about the Ixp database and the tools. So like I said, last year I was at the Apricot meeting talking about things that we were going to be doing. So I'm really, really pleased to say we've finally done something. It's not new. The original code was written around 15 years ago. It was then known as the Ixp Database, and it's basically evolved over time, and through membership consultation and speaking to multiple different internet exchange points and members, IXPs needed a place where they could publish their complete list of members. It didn't make sense for it to be the Ixp database anymore because there is other associations like APIX, Katsiasu is going to talk about that, what they're doing. So there's the APIX, there's LACIX, and there's AFIX. So it didn't make sense for us to kind of individually go out and build databases of internet exchange points. So what we did is, under the umbrella of the IXF, we've come together and we've built one single global database, and that's the Ixp DB. Something else that we had to consider was that we wanted to move towards automation, and we started working on an Ixp member list JSON schema. We put this together, and we ended up contracting our development work to cz.nic, who some of you may know from Bird. And here we have it. So this is the Ixp database. Now, is there a... cool. All right, so this is the Ixp database. This is how you can access it. On the home page, we have a number of different statistics, and I'm going to show you some more of those as we go on. So again, this is the Ixp database. The key thing here for the internet exchange points is the IXF ID, and this is the unique identifier for internet exchange points. So just like networks have an ASN, IXPs we define using the IXF ID. So you can find the IXF ID there. We have built a search, and we're still looking at putting more attributes into this, but you can do searches with IXPs who have an API only. You can also search for IXPs per region. So we have, the way that we've defined the region is using the IXPA. So you have AFIX, APIX, EURIX, LACIX, and North America. We show whether IXPs are manners compliant. So it's something useful to see. And of course, we show the number of ASNs that are connected to the IXPs. The last updated field is also important because you can look at that and see exactly when the record was last updated. So I'm going to dive in a little bit into one of the internet exchange points, and I'm going to use BKNix because they have a full record. So here we go. This is their IXF ID. You can see their logo. The networks, you can see the networks that are on their LANs. You can see their points of presence. So you can see which switches they have, where they are located, and who's connected to them. And you can see the ASNs that are also connected. So we have the ASN, the organization, the type, and this is actually taken from PeeringDB, so it's defined by the network themselves from PeeringDB. So we import that information because we think it's quite useful to be able to see what type of networks are connected to these internet exchanges. We have the IP addresses, MAC addresses, and again, whether the network is manners compliant or not, and the number of connections that network has. In the traffic tab, you can see, of course, the traffic, and this you can look at by day, by week, by month, and by year. And I wanted to highlight the internet exchange in Zimbabwe because it was actually used in some reports a couple of weeks ago when there was the political situation and the internet was locked down. So you can see those two little, you can see those, the downtime of exactly when that happened. It's just some interesting information if you're after that. So you can look at internet exchange points, you can look at them in detail, and also you can compare internet exchange points. So for example, if you're a network looking to go to an internet exchange point, you can actually compare and see the difference in the exchange points and networks that are connected. So what you do here is you click on the IX, just like you would on many of the compare websites that are available now, and then you hit compare. And there you have it. So I've used the Bangkok Internet Exchange and Nepal Internet Exchange because they have the most up-to-date records. So here, what we see here is a real quick snapshot about the Internet Exchange. So for people that are looking for quick information, you don't necessarily have to go to the website. Sometimes there's language problems, whatever. It's just easy to have a quick look on the database, compare the IXs, and get a quick information on the services that they provide. So we also include pricing. If you're looking to join an internet exchange and you want to also compare the different prices, you can look at this and you see the different port prices available. You can see the number of ASNs connected. And I think what's really interesting is the common ASs, but also the unique ASs. So as a network who is looking to join an internet exchange point, you're always trying to find new networks to join, and where are these networks? And this tool is really, really helpful in highlighting where you can connect. So as well as having an IXP directory, we have an ASN directory. So unlike other databases, the information in this ASN directory is actually built up from information and data that's provided by the internet exchange points. So you can access the ASN database through the main menu. You can search for different networks. We have the ASN. The type, and again, this is from PeeringDB, and also you can sort by each of the columns. So if you're looking to see the number of, content providers at a particular internet exchange, you can actually quite easily find that information. We have a list of all their IP addresses, the MAC addresses, and also whether the network is manners compliant, and the number of connections that internet exchange point has. So as well as being able to compare IXPs, we've also built a tool where you can compare ASNs. So it's the same sort of principle. You select the ASN or the network that you want to compare. You hit the compare button, and voila. So here I've picked Akamai and Limelight. So you can see the type of content they describe themselves as, the number of IXPs they're connected at. Also, you can see the common IXs that they're connected to. So if you're looking to peer with either of these networks, and you can just very quickly have a look and say, right, where else are we peering, and just quickly get that information, and it makes it easier to set up peerings. But what I think is even more interesting is you can see the unique IXPs that these networks are at. So if you are, if you're a network, you can actually see where other networks are peering, and it may encourage you to join different internet exchange points because of that. One thing is, don't forget to clear your search. I've done this many times. So once you've compared whether it's the IXPs or the networks, there's a little rubber icon at the bottom, so you must clear that to be able to, do other compares and stuff. So we can then drill down to the network. We don't have a lot of network information, but what we do have is we link to their PeeringDB profile page. You can see when the network was last updated, and you can see the number of the IXPs that network is connected to. And also you can see the number of ASNs that are present at that network. We consistently through the database show which IXPs have an API and which don't. And we also show consistently whether the ASN or the IXP is manners compliant. We have also a root server database, which gives information about which root servers are being used at the internet exchange points. And also switches. We have a switch database, and this is, what it says, the switches that are being used at the internet exchange points. So you might think, okay, well, why is this information important or relevant? And for, network operators, it's not so much, but, it has been used for IXPs that are using the same vendor, the same software, the same model, who are able to then talk to each other about bug fixes or any issues that they've had with a particular software. So this is actually a request that's come from the internet exchange points. What's next? We are looking to publish a new JSON spec, and this will include further information about root servers and switches. So you probably saw a gap in the list that I just showed you where the software was missing. So this will be covered in the next JSON. We are looking to authenticate the APIs. So at the moment, everything is open and all the information is public. Some IXPs don't feel very comfortable with sharing all of the information publicly, but they are happy to share it with each other. So, we will leave it up to the IXP on how they want to present their data, whether they want it completely public or whether they want it just within the associations. We're looking to highlight the ASNs, which are not in PeeringDB. And the reason we're going to be doing this is because, I think it's important that, there's some, while syncing in the databases, but also networks that are not in PeeringDB, we can highlight them so we can, hopefully approach them and say, right, why aren't you there? And encourage them to create a profile in PeeringDB. We're also looking to do other data collection work with root servers, so things like prefixes and ASNs. We're working with IXPs to implement a solution. So, this is, not all IXPs are there and able to build the JSON. So what we're doing is we're looking to build some how-to guides, tutorials. IXP Manager and Asteroid both have a export to the database, and support from other IXPs. You've probably noticed that IXPs are a friendly bunch and they like to talk to each other. So this is something else that we're doing. And actually, you too, as networks, can help, because if you are looking at a record and you see that something isn't quite right with your record, I really, really encourage you to speak to your IXP and ask them why they're not exporting an API. I should also add that because there was quite a lot of internet exchanges that weren't able to do this, so what we've done, we've actually built a manual form. So IXPs can actually manually just add the member list. So really, there's no excuse. So if you speak to your IX, please ask them to do this. I'm really happy to say today we have 84 APIs. When I submitted my proposal, we had 79. And that was like probably 6 weeks ago. So, there is momentum, and it's really, really good to see Internet Exchange Points starting to adopt this. Other information, we have a mailing list for users. If you'd like some more information about the JSON schema, you can find that on GitHub. The API is live. We do have an admin team to look after any kind of requests or issues that IXPs or networks may have with the database. And if you think this is good work, like we do, please support us. And you can contact us on secretariat@eurix.net. And of course, a big thank you to the sponsors for making this happen, because obviously I wouldn't be here presenting this great work that we've been doing without the support of the sponsors. So a big thank you to them. And that's it. Are there any questions?
Hi, I'm CK from Akamai. Just a small comment, actually not so much about us per se, but what you do is you show if the networks are manners compliant. And as I'm one of the people working on it, I thought I wanted to point out what the ISOC and actually the CDN and cloud providers did is we decided that not all of the criteria for ISPs really fit for CDNs and clouds as well. So we created, or we are about to create an own category similar like the IXPs. So who either is CDN or cloud is more than welcome to join and help to create the structure and the framework around. Either talk to me or even better talk to the ISOC. And you might want to reflect that, because we are actually not trying to be compliant with the ISP part, but create an own category. So that's why that is probably misleading.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Otherwise, I like the database. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome, thank you.
Any other questions?
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Oh, question? Oh, please go to the microphone, sorry.
So I see that some of your information you get from PeeringDB and so on, but if IXPs want to populate additional fields in the database, what do they need to do that?
They need a login. And actually, sorry, so I should have mentioned what we did in terms of the authentication, because many IXPs already had a login on the EURIX website. So just to keep things simple, we transported the authentication over to the Ixp database. So any internet exchange points that have a login on the EURIX website can easily log into the Ixp database, and they will automatically be linked to their IXP profiles. So you just need to log in and you can update the business data, because that's obviously manual.
And is membership required to
No.
log in? Okay.
No.
Will you be doing any outreach to, like, this is wonderful, but it's the first I've heard of it.
Oh, okay.
So will you be doing any outreach outside of your own area to get people aware of this?
I'm trying to, yeah. So
Okay.
we're here, yes.
Well, yeah, I mean,
yes.
I know you're here, but in terms of actually contacting individual IXPs in other regions.
That's a good point. We have, the federation, and I think that is probably a really good role for the federation to take up and speak to its own members. So yes, so so APIX can poke its members, and we'll poke ours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Vijay. Okay, next presentation is from me. So I would like to update about the APIX and Peering Asia. Okay, so this talk will be with Mohan, so later, please come. Okay, so next please. Oh yeah, sorry, I have. Okay, first, maybe you know the APIX, what APIX is. So APIX is association of IXP in the Asia Pacific region. And why we need, maybe here the audience already knows. Okay, so let's skip. The currently the APIX, the steering committee member is there, and this time the AJ, Zhu, and Haryanto they finished the terms of office, and we had a selection later. And this year, 2018. We have gotten 5 new members, and 1 country and economy increased. So totally 30 IXPs are the member of the IXPs. So gradually bigger and bigger. And the current APX member is here. So the red one is a new one in the 2018. Okay, so AMRX and JBIX and MMIX, UQIX and the TWIX. So some of them are will give us short talk later. Okay. And as a result of the steering committee, the new steering committee member has been elected. So Tom Paseka from the New Zealand IX, he's very famous for Cloudflare. And Vivin from Mumbai IX, and Rupesh of the NPIX. So Rupesh is here? No, okay. So these 5 members are organized in the APIX from now. And report about the Peering Asia. So Peering Asia is one of the big activities of the APIX. And we had Peering Asia 2.0 at Hong Kong on the 24th to 25th October. And thank you very much for the hosts and sponsors. Okay. And Peering Asia 1.0, which was held in 2017 in Kyoto, Japan. At the time, 114 AS number and 239 attendees there. And 2.0, 149 S number and 328 attendees. So S number and attendees both increased. So we are very happy to get in the attention from every people. Okay. So this is an attendee profile. So mainly from Asia Pacific. So we had this event in Hong Kong. So the Hong Kong is the largest. And the next Japan, Singapore, China, yeah. These countries, the people from these countries get together. And also the North America and Europe and Africa. Yeah, those and the variety of the people has been gathered. Okay. And survey result, one is better and 4 is bad. So we got a good response from the attendees, okay? So we will have an Peering Asia 3.0. So Mohan, please come. So Peering Asia is hosted by MYIX and MYNOR. So the Mohan is one of the representatives of the host team.
Hi, my name is Mohan. I'm from Malaysian Internet Exchange. Peering Asia 3.0 will be held in Kuala Lumpur from 6 to 7 November 2019. The venue is Intercontinental Hotel next to KLCC, Kuala Lumpur. And the host is Malaysian Internet Exchange. Malaysian Internet Exchange is the first and neutral Internet Exchange. We also an open Internet Exchange. It was partly formed by the government and also by the industry. We are a non-profit organization. Currently, we have almost 98 members and a traffic of 350 gig traffic peak. And we hope to provide the 100 gig port in Q3. And the other voice is MyNOC, is a Malaysian chapter of NOC. And MyNOC has been running the NOC since 2010. About Malaysia, Malaysia is a multicultural city and English is widely spoken. We also have a Mandarin and Cantonese in Bahasa Malaysia. We have a variety of food selection ranging from Asian, Western, and also Middle Eastern, and not to mention the local foods and local cuisines foods. The venue is walking distance to various hotspots from the conference hall, and we believe that we are giving a very good lower cost of participation in terms of food, accommodation, public transport, and also the sponsorship. Visa is basically free for most of the countries, and the location is very strategic in Asia Pacific. Average time between 6 to 8 hours in international flights. The conference hall is basically the heart of the Kuala Lumpur, 6 minutes walk to Malaysian iconic building, KLCC, Twin Towers, and also accessible via public transport, MRT and LRT, and also walking distance to the malls and nightlife. This is the venue, Intercontinental Hotel. We also like to offer some of the attendees for a special rate for those who are staying in the Intercontinental Hotel. We have arranged some special rates. And what else is definitely is food and also local cuisines. So finally, I would like to welcome you for the Peering Asia 3.0 in Kuala Lumpur. And if you have any queries, you can contact me or Paul. Registration is going to be open soon. And you can contact me for any participations and also sponsorship. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And any questions? No? So please announce or please tell the Peering Asia to your customers or if you are IXPs. And also you yourself, please mark your calendar to join the Peering Asia. Okay, so thank you very much. Okay. Okay, so next presentation is in setting up of the first internet exchange in Myanmar. So Kain from MMIX. Okay, please come.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for giving opportunity to speak in front of all of you. So my name is Damien Kai. We set up the first internet exchange in Myanmar. Till now, it is the single exchange in Myanmar. We set up as a neutral and industrial-owned and also aim for not-for-profit. And on 20th July 2017, we arranged the first meeting. At that time, APNIC also attended. On September 12th, we can organize 10 ISPs to sign MOU to set up this exchange. This is our internet exchange. Internet exchange is alive on September 2017. So this is our existing member who is connecting our exchange. MMIX is recently formed, but we are APNIC member, APIX member. Also, recently we got MENRS participant. This is our achievement. In day one, we can organize 12 ISPs. And then, to dealing with government regulatory, we proposed at that time 10 ISP agreed to participate in this proposal. When signing MOU, 10 ISP participated. After MOU, we signed on an agreement to run this operation. So 10 ISP participated. Up to now, there are total 12 ISPs connecting. There is associated ESNs are total of 16. Our local content is just very few. AS to AS content is quite few, but after we deploy CDN, major content is CDNs. We have Akamai, Facebook, and Google at the time being. We are also negotiating for more CDN for our exchange. This is our current traffic. We have more than 10G at the time being. So there is a question, setting up this IXP is a right time or not. MMI is alive in September 2017, not 18. At first, we thought we set up this as a right time, but after running, we noticed it's a bit late because we better set up this IXP a year before that. Because after licensing IGW, especially there is 4 telco, they are competing each other, and then government awarded IGW license. So most of the internet service internet gateway license holder, if they are big, they are not appreciating IXP, and so there is a lot of some other negative. So we expected after we set up more and more ISP may join, and more traffic will come out, but we feel a bit late, but better than too late. So there is an issue, the growing IXP. When we set up, it's very fast. We can set up within 1.5 months after first meeting. But we feel growing is a little slow. So ministry level, when we set up, we organized each other and we set up this exchange. But the IXP concern from the government point, there is no clear defining license about the IXP. We are not very sure which license we have to apply, and it's not very clear. And also, before we set up IXP, there is other organization and people, they also have to set up IXP and run that IXP. So there is a various idea and advice, proposal, and approach to the government. And also, government personnel is very overloaded with other important issues, so they cannot focus on the IXP issue. So some other organizations, as they like to run IXP, so they are saying they can run, or MMIS is also a single IXP, so government is trying to solve this issue. Operator's point of view. Like a ministry point of view, so this IX is single, or next IX will come out, or other IXP will be allowed to operate. So operators are not very sure, so for the legal point of view, so they don't like to join at the time, even though one operator has already joined to us, the last operator, Mindel, so already joined us. And operators have their own content, so they don't like to share each other, but they like to use their own content. And also IGW license holder. IGW license, more and more, now there are 70 IGW license holder. So after that, IP transit price is dropping because competing each other. They also have a committed transmission according to the license. So they have over transmission capacity. So connecting to the IXB and getting CDN traffic, they are not very interesting because they have an over capacity. They can get this traffic from overseas directly with low cost than getting locally. ISP point of view, ISP also competitions are really high because more and more licenses are awarding. And also, ISP awareness is not very aware about the IXP. We need to be aware to arrange awareness for them. And most of the ISP, they have a contract terms and capacity. Let's say they have an IP transit contract, so that's why they don't like to pay more to the IXP for the more traffic. So, and also data center operators. Most of the data center operators are expecting to run IXP business. So they are approaching, but their approaching way is they are trying to get permission from the government and trying to set up IXP. But as you know, government is very busy and they cannot clear about that. So they are approaching top-down, but we are approaching bottom-up, so we can set up this IXP faster than them. So some data center, even though they are not available, they cannot run IXP, they need existing IXP to use their data center. So there's some other way approaching to get this kind of permission. MMIX issue. MMIX expected high traffic after CDN hosted. We also get high traffic. Now we got more than 10G aggregate traffic. CDN price and IP transit. Actually, we set up this IXP as a neutral and industrial owned, not for profit, but for the CDN box, we have to fill IP transit. That is a cost. So we have to define CDN price. Any other IXP, the price is defined on the port speed. But at that time, IP transit price and after calculated CDN price, if we define to the port speed, even 1G, that will be several thousand $US, so no one cannot afford it. So we have to separate for the just only PRM price and the CDN price based on the IP transit. At the same time, when we start launch this CDN, IP transit price is a little high, but after that, IP transit is dropping. So any other existing members, they also have their own IP transit and overcapacity. So they are not getting IP transit from us. So what we are doing is a bartering system. Fill one member this IP transit and get back CDN. This way we are trying to get more traffic on our IP transit. So IP transit price is going down, so our CDN price is to be in line with them. So we are also reducing the price, even though traffic is not remarkably increased. So finally, we are split IP transit filling to the box and barter again with another members. We are doing like that. For this negotiation, even existing members, they are not very aware about this IP transit and CDN. So they thought CDN is free and they can get this traffic freely. But from our point of view, we are failing the IP transit. That is a problem. We cannot give free to them. So we need more awareness for our members. Also, the same clarification of ministry is for another member joining to our exchange. That is also necessary. So that's all I'd like to tell you about our exchange. So this is, we are planning for MMI's 2019 event for more awareness for our existing ISPs and also enterprise to join IXP. So we plan to arrange this event 3 to 5 May. That will be conference, 4th and 5th will be training and workshop. I'd like to invite you all attending, if possible, this event. There is no registration fee, it's free. So thank you so much. You can find out detailed information at the www.mm-ix.net, and we have a Facebook page, myanmar.mmix. For any contact, you can use info@mm-ix.net. Thank you so much.
I'm Dr. Govind from India, formerly with the National Internet Exchange of India. So my question is in the setting up of the IXP in business in Myanmar, whether you have taken any regulatory hurdles or whether you've taken any kind of license from the ministry for connecting the CDNs, or it's a kind of pure ISPs connecting to your exchanges. Whether you've taken any license for this?
Honestly, till now, we don't have telecom license, telecom-related license, but since we set up this exchange, we reported what we are doing to the ministry regulatory. So every changes we reported, and they know very aware about that. The last time, the ministry handle this case. So they are saying they will set up national exchange. So that will be merged with our existing MMIs. MMIs, existing member together with another ISP, they will form the national exchange that will be adopt this MMIX. So last time when I met with the ministry person, I ever asked them, shall we need to apply license? So they are saying, just hold on, please. So we need to wait for a specific time to clarification of the ministry.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, next is also the similar topic, the SLTIX, setting up an internet exchange by KAUS, Sri Lanka Telecom. So, please.
Okay, thank you everybody. Good evening. So it's actually, this is the SLTIX, which is now, actually now the purpose of setting up the IX is the common features which we all agree. So that is for the local internet user, improving local internet user experience in Sri Lanka, and the international bandwidth saving for the country and a lot of other things. Actually now the difference is now this is being the incumbent ISP of the country. So we managed to set up the IX by convincing all other the competitors. So we all agree that we have to improve the industry for the benefit of all. So that's how we place this. So coming on to this, the other one is now we need to venture into a new area where we have no experience at that time. So we had, of course, we had a decade ago, we had an IX, but it's not a usual kind of IX where a layer 2 setup is provided. So that's a bunch of BGP feeds provided by another ISP, the sister ISP. So, but now this is a standard set of okay. So it's actually still it's not open for everybody like commercial exchange in other countries, but this is a kind of ISP open only for the local license operators. So it's SLT, the Sri Lanka Telecom, it acts as the facilitator. So we have on a different ASN and address space provided by APNIC for this. And now we are now this is the network topology. So you see now we have, in the country, we have around 10 internet service providers. So now, at the time of, now it's actually by December this year, so almost all connected. The network topology states only 6, but it's around 10 right now. So we have a layer 2 switch with 2 route servers, and all these ISPs, all competitors of SLT. So everybody taking the exchanging the local traffic. So the basic requirements to be an SLT-IX customer, that is a valid ISP license holder in Sri Lanka. So of course the government of Sri Lanka, the regulator for this, the local regulator, they issued license for the all ISPs. So if anybody who is having a license is eligible to go for this. So these are the conditions. And what we offer now, it's actually a layer 2 port. Right now it's fast Ethernet and gig port. And we have address space /22 and IPv6 address space as well. So there's, NetNode has provided us a root server. And so with SLT staff, we managed to give us 24/7 NOC service. So we are providing them the port usage. So in future we plan to set up 10G ports and backup ports and DNS looking glass and member portal with more information. And of course we feel that it's not easy for us to manage it with the current revenue. So we will go for a commercialized model so that the global providers, the CDN providers will be invited for this setup so that the traffic will be more. So we hope to do that in near future. And this will be a separate entity for that. So in return, we need to improve the local user experience and more traffic and gain experience on maintaining an IX for the industry. So that's all. This is supported documents now. The current SLT-IX connection agreement, it says the now still we maintain the carrier neutrality, even though we are one ISP. We open for everybody so that anybody can who owns their own cable can come up to and join to the IX. So this is the connection agreement. So we provide and maintain the connection and route server facility and installation and support service, network management, and any other service decided by SLT. So right now, as today, it's managed by SLT, but in future that will be a separate entity. So these are the guidelines. So these are similar to any other global exchange. So this is just the guidelines. And these are the just for the view. So it's BGP summary and the commands. Right now we have 2 route servers. One is Juniper and the other one is Cisco. So once we upgrade that to 10G, so we'll go for more scalable, more futuristic models with more openness. So thank you very much.
Any questions?
I'm Ronak from Extreme IX India. My query is, I saw your presentation, there are 2 things. Do you force ISPs to peer with each other through route servers only, or do you allow bilateral peering also?
They can do both. So we ask everybody to peer with the route server. So there may be some sort of private arrangements with, if there's two ISPs, they need some sort of arrangement for their own blocks, so that they are free to do it with their separate BGP feed.
And second question is, you mentioned that only ISP license holders would be able to participate in the IX. So as we are seeing, most of the IXs do not force this kind of a policy, as it is not really helping encourage the peering ecosystem. So why are you, which is a new IX coming up, why are you forcing such kind of a policy?
No, actually now at the day of at the day one, so we want everybody to come out of the mindset where earlier they said that they have own traffic and they are reluctant to exchange because there's a financial impact. So now we think that if we are going the day one, we have to convince only the ISP sector. So we have done that. Now everybody feels the difference. So everybody will have more more user experience and more traffic. So now we think that we are in a position to go for the second step. That is, we are opening for everybody. So there's a commercial model. So with that, we will be able to go for the everybody without any restrictions.
So that brings me to another question, since you mentioned commercial model. Is it a settlement-free exchange, or do you want to charge difference of traffic?
It's a settlement-free, but we charge for the port.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Anand from PeeringDB. I was looking for your IXP in PeeringDB and can't find it.
You mean SLT IX?
Yes, your IX.
No, actually it's not globally routable. So our SLT, you will find it in PeeringDB, but SLT IX not in there. Still it is for the local reference only.
Yeah, but even then, it could be there and should be there perhaps.
Yeah, of course, now once we go for the commercial model, that will be...
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other question?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so from now, the IXP updates, so just a little shorter. So the first one is in a gateway known as a Johor Bahru. So when of the JBIX, yes please. Yeah.
Hi, good afternoon. Many of you know Malaysia, but you may not know where is the Johor Bahru. As you can see from the map here, Johor Bahru is the southernmost city right next to Singapore. It's right at the border between Singapore and Malaysia. For Malaysia, let me give you a quick update. So we have a 32 million populations. It's a very young country. Broadband penetrations, we have 2.6 million, and mobile, we have close to 36 million. So now, in terms of our infrastructures, many of you probably don't know that Malaysia is also happened to be the conduit of traffic from Indochina coming destined towards Singapore. In terms of the infrastructures, terrestrial cables, Malaysia's, the main terrestrial cables is typically from north to south. So traversing the west coast and the east coast. And then between east and west, we have this, the east-west backbone. Now, all these cables, this is a typical fiber routes. So they are connecting between all the cable landing stations between each others. And between the east and west Malaysia, there's this cable that is newly built called Scream cable. So, and this cable is connecting Sabah and Sarawak, which is two East Malaysia states, to the peninsular Malaysia, where most of the populations are located. So bulk of that traffic are actually destined for Singapore. So as you can see here, the north-south backbone is a very important infrastructure for Malaysia. Because not only that it is carrying the Malaysian traffic, it's also carrying the bulk of Indochina traffic. So IX, there are two IXs in Malaysia. The incumbent IX is called MyIX, established in year 2006. Altogether, there's about 95 ASN there. The other one is a new IX that was set up last year. Currently, it has about 25 ASN. This IX is located in Johor Bahru, right at the border between Singapore and Malaysia. Now, as you can see from here, yeah, Johor Bahru is where is what we call the gateway to Singapore, because all the fibers are traversing the Johor Bahru. It's the fourth largest cities in Malaysia with a population of 900,000. The connectivity to Singapore is through a causeway, and then most of the fibers are actually traversing the main causeway, which is where Johor Bahru is located. There's also an alternative fiber path, which is what we call the second link on the west end of the Singapore Island, and there's lesser traffic going through that one. Now, the main causeway is where the fibers from Singapore and Malaysia meets. There's one data center which is located not too far from that causeway. It's called the OpenDC JB1 data centers. Lately, in terms of the traffic, most of that, there's a lot of, as I mentioned just now, most of the traffics are actually Malaysian domestic traffics. And then we also have the Indochina traffic. Everything is traversing towards the Singapore's. So the JBIX is located right next to that gateway. So what I'm going to do is I will show you a few scenarios where, to illustrate how you can take advantage of that, of the presence of an IX there. Now, it should also be noted that along the causeway, recently the availability of dark fiber listings is open. So you are able to lease dark fibers from mid-causeway connecting towards the JB1 data centers. So having these dark fibers connecting from the mid-causeway coming to JB1 or JBIX, it allows you to match dark fiber coming from Singapore to the dark fiber going to JBIX, so you can have an end-to-end dark fiber solutions coming into Malaysia. So you can bring up your DWDM solutions, and you can bring any kind of capacity into Malaysia. So this is one of the game changer of a latest development in the telco market in Malaysia. Let me just skip this. Now, let me just quickly run through. For content providers, how do you take advantage of these new developments? Now, we all know that for OTT providers, most of the contents are actually located in Singapore. You know, they build data centers and put the servers and the content, everything is located there. So Singapore has solidified the base for OTT players, but with the content located in Singapore, they need to push it to the eyeballs northbound of Singapore. So having the dark fiber at the causeway will help them to build a very, very scalable and cost-effective solutions. Now, how does that work? This is a scenario when there's no JB gateway. So typically, OTT players, they build their hub in Singapore. So they distribute the content by connecting into the IXs in Singapore. Now, for them to push the content northbound, they need to cross the border and to connect to IXs northbound to Singapore, typically my IX. They will need to set up a node, an IP node in Malaysia. So they need to lease a capacity to go out. Now, this capacity is made up of the long-haul circuit in Malaysia plus the Singapore circuit. Now, the cost for them to do so is the aggregation of the Malaysia long-haul circuit cost and the Singapore circuit cost. Now, with the JB gateway, another option is open to the OTT players. So what they can do is they can set up a node in JB1 and then connect into the JBIX. So instead of leasing capacity, what they can do is they lease the dark fiber to match with the dark fiber from the Singapore circuits. So essentially, the cost now becomes the dark fiber leasing cost in Malaysia, at the Malaysia end, plus the Singapore dark fiber. So the cost become a fixed cost. So instead of paying for the capacity, you can now get a pair of dark fiber coming into Malaysia. And you can use JBIX to distribute your content. So this is this gives them a very scalable and cost-effective solutions to distribute their contents. Now, for other types of players, for example, Malaysia players, how do they take advantage of this new solution here? Now, we know that the Indo-China traffic is growing very fast. And most of this traffic are actually destined towards Singapore. So the JB gateways, it offers an option for the Thai and Malaysia players to offload the traffic before they go to Singapore. Now, how does that work? Again, the Thai players, typically, they have the nodes located in Thailand. So and then for them to connect to the rest of the world, they set up a node in Singapore. So that node will then connect into the IXs in Singapore. Now, for them to connect back to Thailand, they need to lease a long-haul capacity. And typically, these capacities will consist of the long-haul circuit in Malaysia plus the Singapore circuit. So for them, the cost is an aggregation of this Malaysia long-haul circuit plus the Singapore circuit. Now, with JB Gateway, what they can do, this same circuit that is connecting to Singapore, but before it reaches Singapore, you can stop by and set up a node in JB1. And then your traffic, instead of, your cost is still the same. You are not changing anything on that. So it's still the long-haul circuit. You still need the Singapore circuit. But before your traffic goes down to Singapore, what you can do, you can offload the traffic to JBIX. Any traffic that you cannot offload, then you push it to Singapore. So by doing it this way, slowly, you can reduce the amount of traffic that you push down to Singapore. So any type of traffic that you can save, it will go into your bottom line. You can reduce your cost. So now for global players, players who are coming in to sell bandwidth in these regions, so how can they make use of the JB1 gateway? Now for them, typically, they set up an IP node in Singapore, and then their customers will typically have to lease capacity to go down to Singapore in order to connect to their IP nodes. So they sell the IP transit capacity to Malaysia and Thai players. Now, with the JB Gateway solutions, what they can do instead of connecting to all their customers in Singapore, they can intercept the customers in JB1. By doing so, they do not have to compete in a very competitive Singapore market. So this gives them an option to enhance the offerings to their customers. So now, just to summarize, so with the JB Gateway solutions, for OTT, this is a very scalable and cost-effective solution. So it gives them a new way, it gives OTT a new ways to meet the eyeballs. So you do not need to go all the way up to central Malaysia, hence incurring the long-haul costs. There's a compromise. There's a compromise place where you can meet all the eyeballs, which is in the JB. So it's cost-effective for both sides. For Malaysia players, you can, if you can get the content within Malaysia, then that's cost saving for you. And for global players, the JB POP will give them a very cost-effective and scalable solutions to groom the Malaysian traffic. Okay, so I hope I've given everybody some ideas now. Okay, is there any questions? Sure. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so next one is a TWIX introduction by Wan from Changhua Telecom in Highland. Yes, please.
So, good afternoon, everyone. And my name is Wang Yanjie. You can call me Jack as well. And today I'm going to introduce Twix here. And I think the most important thing here is Twix in Taiwan is not a chocolate company. And you can Google it, and you will find the first pop-up will be chocolate. Yeah. So actually, Twix is Taiwan Internet Exchange. And it belongs to Changhua Telecom. And for some guys may ask, where is Taiwan? Yeah, Taiwan is here, and nearby the Hong Kong, China, and Japan. So, what is Twix? Actually, Twix is an abbreviation of Taiwan Internet Exchange here, and we are not that fresh. We just have our service on 1997. And we have our first satellite POP in BQIDC, Banqiao IDC, which is the first Tier 4 IDC in Taiwan, and lots of content provider there. For network, RS number is 7481, and for the traffic levels, more than 180 gig, and peering policy now is opened. We also support dual stake for the V4 and V6 service there. For the POPs and the traffic, our main POP is located in Taipei. Okay, Taipei data center, and BQIDC, Banqiao IDC there is our first satellite POP. And we have our Taichung and Kaohsiung satellite POP last year. For the members who don't want to put their device into Twix, we provide this remote peering service. Just download the phone here. The link is here. And for members, on this page you can find lots of main ISPs in Taiwan. They put their device into Twix to have the interconnection. Yeah. So about us, we just launched our new, very new, yeah. Last month we launched it. The new website here, and for the contact information, you can mail us to twix@cht.com.tw for some more details. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so the last one is in Equinix Hong Kong renumbering. Oh yeah. The VJ, please.
Okay, well, I think this slide was already presented. I don't want to touch base on this, but to give you guys a quick update here on this slide, Perf Internet Exchange was actually launched August 2018. So we have ready with that platform there. So as far as the latest update on the Hong Kong Internet Exchange, where the Internet Exchange in Hong Kong, Equinix, we have to actually expand our IP address subnet from /24 to /22 because of the future customer growth. Currently, we have already used 95% of the /24. So we have already started the process of setting up the servers, and sub-servers are already ready. And we had to actually get the customers to renumber their IP addresses and set up their peerings on the MLPA and BLPA settings. There won't be any change in the IPv6 address space, and the main date to remember will be the 1st April. So this schedule is to actually show you guys that we'll have a parallel run period of a month from 1st March to 31st March. So the reminder notifications has been already sent to all our peering participants, and they have been already informed about the IP address that they have to configure. So as far as the IP address, there won't be any change on the last quad of the IP subnet. The change will be on the first 3 quad and then the subnet mask. So those who are peering in Equinix Hong Kong Internet Exchange platform, you would have already received notification. Please plan your maintenances and your communication with your BLPA partners to configure secondary IP and bring up the BGP peer. So after the parallel run period, we will actually shut down the old route servers, and we would encourage customers to actually remove the old IP address, because that particular address space is going to be repurposed for different service. So we don't want to have any surprises with the customers that their service is impacted because of the prefix is going to be announced into internet. Okay, so that is on the schedule of IP address renumbering. The current status of this particular project is that even before the parallel run period has kick-started, as part of the initial notification that we had sent, 45% of the customers have already configured their IP and brought up their BGP peers with our route servers, new route servers, and which works out around 53% of the routes out of 123K of routes that we have in our network in Hong Kong already available. So which actually makes much sense that you guys can, who are all in that platform peering, please set up the session as soon as possible. So the key date to remember is 1st April. On 1st April, the old route server will be shut down. Okay, next exciting info or update that I'd like to actually make here is that Equinix is actually expanding its global footprint to South Korea with new data center in Seoul, and it is going to be called as SL-ON, and it is located at Sangam, which is near Seoul CBD, and the size of the site is about 18,000 square feet and more. In phase 1, we will have 550 racks, and phase 2 will have another 550 also. So by early July 2019, the site will be ready for service. I think that's all I think I have. And do you guys have any question for me? Okay, if not, thank you.
Okay, so it's time for peering personals. So the people who sent the slide to come to the stage, okay? So Ralph will control that.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
So we have PLDT, Tencent, Facebook, and ZenLayer in that order.
Thanks, Ralph. So good afternoon. My name is Noel Tabernilia from PLDT. Okay, so just to have a background for peering with PLDT, we're currently using Global ASN 9299, and we have private peering facilities in US, Hong Kong, Singapore, and of course in PH via Vitro data centers nationwide. For public peering, we are in different IXS also in Asia Pacific, in Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong, and even in Europe. So for the details for peering, you can visit our peeringdb.com entries, and you can contact via peering@pldt.com.ph and contact us. My name is Noel, and also my colleague Royal Resurrection. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Joyce from Tencent. Yeah, our ASN is 132203. So our traffic profile is outbound and with content. So traffic, mostly we have traffic in the APAC area, more than 100, multiple 100 gigabit. But for the, we also have popped all over the world, in North American and Europe. So our policy is open. So actually you will notice there were several IXP interconnected right now in Hong Kong X, Equinix, and BBIX, Kings. And you are very welcome to send email to us. Yeah, have you ever noticed the picture I put there? That's our new Tencent building. There were 3 bridges between the buildings. That also means that you're very welcome to contact us with peering, okay? You can send email to peering@tencent.com or joycewen@tencent.com or Yona Zen. So thank you.
Hey, my name is Matt. We run a social network. We have a fair amount of traffic to pretty much everybody in here, I guess. You can peer with us all over the world. PeeringDB has all the important information for that. This changes all the time, and I can't list it all on here. So go to PeeringDB if you want to peer with us. You have all the relevant information there. And in fact, we will actually require a PeeringDB entry to peer with you. We will not be able to set up peering if you don't have one. On top of that, we obviously also deploy caches, which a fair amount of people in here have deployed as well. If you're interested in any of that, ping us, peering@fb.com, or let one of us here know. Thanks.
Hi, this is Chinchai from ZenLayer, ES21859, and we are more of a NSP that carries a lot of Chinese content. Peering policy is open, a lot of outbound traffic, traffic more than a T, and Asia peering location, various Equinix, SG, Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan, even Dubai. We also in HKIX, JPIX, BBIX, and EIE as well. So if you want to peer with us, send to peering@zenlayer.com. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Just a reminder, we have a peering social across the road at Lotte City Hotel Ballroom, sponsored by Equinix, and we hope to see all of you there. Would you like to do the closing?
Thank you very much. The only closing word. Okay, yeah. Anyway, well, thank you very much. So after that, as Ralph mentioned, please take a ticket from a Ralph or Horatio. Yeah. And please join the peering social at the Lotte City Hotel, okay? So thank you very much. And we need some volunteers to make a program of the Apricot Peering Forum. So please contact us, Ralph and Gaurav and Gavin and me. And next year, please let's make a program of this peering forum together. Okay, so here, someone would like to do such kind of volunteers? If is, please raise your hand to make a program. Oh, or you are shy. So later, contact us, please. Anyway, thank you very much. Thank you for attending the peering forum. Okay, so see you later. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.